Hi everyone. Today I want to share my understanding of the secret behind the secret. This is the secret behind the law of attraction, or what some people are now saying, it's not the law of attraction, isn't it? It's the law of assumption is the next big thing, and that's the way to do it. But this is still the secret behind the law of attraction, the secret behind the law of assumption, why these things work, and how you can actually activate it on a much higher level. And this is through what I call the law of identification. This is whether you're working with the law of attraction, the secret, the law of assumption, the big thing behind it all is who you are, your sense of identification. This is what makes the biggest impact upon any of those things. So let me figure out how to tell you about this. So if you're just thinking that it's you against this vast universe, you go and you look up in the stars at night and you imagine how small you are on this little planet Earth, and you in this body, and you're asking for things. And it's like, well, how can these things possibly come to me? And then you go and you watch The Secret or whatever, and it says, well, whatever you think about and whatever you feel, this is through the law of attraction, you manifest these things in your life. And this is true. But how you can get to a higher level of why it works and how it can work more effectively and powerfully in your life, the secret behind it all is your sense of identification. If you can come to understand that you are actually that which is behind the universe itself, all manifestations, all planes of existence. So think about this. In your body, you have all of these very, very small cells scattered throughout your body. And imagine for a moment that your body is like a galaxy. So you have a galaxy like our Milky Way galaxy is said to be 100,000 light years across. That is some huge space and distance. 100,000 light years across. Now imagine that our body is a galaxy again, and if that galaxy, from a perspective of someone looking at it from the inside, could say this is 100,000 light years across. And yet within us, you cut your finger over here. Maybe this is some star system in the far reaches of this galaxy that we are. You cut your finger, and the stimulation goes from there all the way to some other far part of the galaxy where there is this brain-like activity, and it sends the white blood cells, which then come and move, and all these different resources start coming from different parts of your body to go and work with this cut that you've sustained on your finger. And you understand it as your finger, but on the level of your finger, it's possible that your finger doesn't understand itself as me. Your finger and all the little cells in it, they have their own little lives going on. They have their own self-conscious awareness. And so they're there, and it's like they've been injured, and they're like, geez, I really would like some help. And then suddenly, miraculously, help arrives. Someone, the various parts of their body start sending these resources, which we could think of like from a level of a movie. If this was like a movie going on, and we're like into imagining these resources, like, boy, I really need some money. I'm in a really tight bond here, and you sit there and you wish, you think, or you have that feeling, and then someone comes down your driveway and says, I feel really bad. I owed you all this money for all these years, and they give you some money back, or however it comes about. But you could sit there and go, how could that happen? I mean, I was just thinking about it, and this person comes and helps me out. What could make sense of that? Except that we are actually like the metaphor I like is when you have those Ukrainian or Russian dolls, where you see a bigger doll, and then a doll inside the doll, and a doll inside the doll, and it goes on and inwards, and it could go on and on outwards as much as possible. This is actually how consciousness and identification works within even the physical universe. in the physical universe, like on our planetary level, we have all of our individual bodies, and we all understand ourselves as these individuals and this self with the consciousness. And yet, within ourselves, we basically have the same microcosmic kind of processes going on, where we have all sorts of beings and planets and existences going on throughout us that can sit there on their little rock and look out into the vastness and go, is there life out there? Right? So imagine that you maybe even have that going on in your body, and that these are all truths about the nature of the physical reality, is that the atoms of our bodies are actually similarly, on terms of ratio, the distance between one atom and another in our body is a similar ratio of space as the stars are from each other in the sky. We are mostly space. It's amazing. What strikes me as amazing is how, on our level of reality, we come up with this hard reality surface of things, where they come on and take on as these actual objects that we might have around us, and how that takes place within our minds and in our subjective experience of the energies of the universe on our level. So here you are on this planet, you're an individual, there's all these other billions of other individuals, and there's the planet, and we believe, a lot of people think they live on this dead rock, or maybe that it has some volcanic activity or not, but wouldn't it be interesting to understand that this planet that we live on is an actual being, just like we're a being, and just like we have all sorts of things, and there's microorganisms that even live on our skin and inside of us, and have existences that we're almost completely unaware of. And so this planet, I would propose, is also a conscious entity, and actually a more vast and complex entity than ourselves, in which we are a part of. So again, the dolls inside the dolls inside the dolls. So you have ourselves living within this planet, and then when that planet is a part of all of these other planets, which are kind of like the other billions of individuals on our planet, but this planet is also a part of another group of other planets and things that are then part of what we call our solar system, and then that solar system and the sun and everything around it is also its own entity, its own identification. And this process goes on and on as we just expand out into greater and greater clusters and groups of identity and consciousness, all the way to the point where you could imagine that we are this entire universe of all of these billions and billions of galaxies. As vast as you see the stars in our sky, it is just one of many, many billions of galaxies in the universe. That's how big it all is. And this isn't to just blow your mind in terms of how big the universe is, but what's really amazing is that our identification, our mind, is capable, as vast as all that is, of actually holding it all together at once and identifying with that greater self. And that's all done through our intention. Maybe most people never thought about doing that, but it's within our free will to release and to understand that we aren't our body, and we aren't this planet, and we aren't the solar system, and we aren't all of these vast things. We actually are this identity, this consciousness that is beyond all of it, and encloses and holds and embraces all of it. So, if we are this entity, this being, this consciousness beyond the universe itself, enclosing all of the many planes of existence within it, when something happens on one planet or in this body, we actually have access to the entire resources of the universe through our sense of identification, if we choose. If we choose to just identify with this body, we might limit the resources that become available to us. This is why this is the secret behind the secret behind the law of assumption. The more that we expand our sense of identification, the more it makes sense that we have access and can command the resources of the universe. I'm sure I will make more videos about this, and that gives you definitely plenty to think about. But that is, in a nutshell, the secret behind the secret behind the law of assumption. It is the law, what I call the law of identification. So I think I'm probably going to make a meditation. I have given people meditation that works along this line where I guide them out into expanded consciousness within the planet, within the solar system, within the galaxy and the universe. And it can act as a sort of initiation into that greater law of identification. And I'll be sharing that and many other things now. I think we've reached a point where I've kept quiet behind the scenes for long enough, and I am decided to bring this all out and share it with you now. So stay tuned, share it with some other people, let people know what you're experiencing. I'm glad to have you all along on this journey. Have a great day. Thank you.